Hello, everyone. Welcome to Switchcraft, a Fingerboard podcast. My name is Jana, and I'm sitting here with a returning guest, my good friend, Hennemann, or also known as Chris, or Chrisley, or Harz4, or Harz4, or whatever you might call him. So, yeah,
That's
please
nice.
briefly introduce yourself and tell us how to call you.
Okay. Hi again. That's a friendly reminder because I forgot that I was already in your show. um, how I should introduce myself? Yeah, I'm Chris. All of you can call me Chris. I also are the man behind Harz4 Wheels, and I'm quite into the scene for over 15 years now. So maybe someone will know me. And maybe someone don't know me after today. Hopefully more people will know me.
Yeah, and Chris or Hennemann has been on the show back when I was still doing it with Julian, and back then we talked about the benches he made back then, and that was like his first venture into making something for the fingerboard scene. And since then, you've been quite busy, and we in Berlin have known about that for quite a while. And you posted like small drops here and there, and yeah. So for everyone who doesn't know that, Chris has been doing uh, Harz4 Wheels, or as we in German would say, Harz4. He has been doing that for quite a while, and basically all of us locals at the ASI Shop are now riding his wheels pretty much exclusively. And yeah, I wanted to talk about like the whole process of that, the whole trial and error, and everything he'd learned. And yeah, since I don't think I've had a wheel manufacturer on here so far, I thought this would be the perfect opportunity.
It's too nice that you define me as a wheel
Oh,
manufacturer.
let's call you a wheel maker if you're more comfortable with that.
Yeah, yeah. That's more fitting now, I would say, because I'm not a professional in this business, how you would call
So,
it.
how did you get started doing wheels? Because as you discussed, you've been in the scene for ages. You started
Yeah.
doing like the benches thing a while ago, but before then you were like more in the background. And so let's first start with why did you decide to make something, and how did you stumble upon making wheels? And yeah.
I understand. Um, it's hard to find a point where I was starting with this idea or this whole process, but I would go back like 2 years. That's the first time I had kind of this idea of making wheels, not wheels as everybody is knowing that process, because at this time in my university I had to write an exam, and the topic was like additive manufacturing. And in this whole process of working on this exam, I figured out there are quite a lot of additive manufacturing ways. And then I discovered one method I found really interesting, because this manufacturing process was able to build really small objects with a, how you would call it, 3D printer, that are really detailed and small at the same time, without all these steps in the material. It's like kind of fluid material. And while I was writing this exam, I was like, maybe I can use this process to make wheel. And behind this, there was not a business idea. It was like, just, is it possible to do this? And I want to try it out, but I don't have any access to a printer at this time. And I just wrote this exam and had no idea how all of this is working and will come out at the end. So for half of the year, it was like, yeah, just looking for materials and how is this working, maybe. And then all of a sudden, I was like, oh, fuck it. I just buy a printer and try it. Just try it. And after half a year, I was just starting with different materials, a 3D printer, and just tried and error because there was no example I can look at, like, oh, this is how a wheel will work in a 3D printer in this process. So it was like, yeah, searching for materials and just testing all night. And at this time, it was, I mean, you will know that because I told you before, and all the people in Berlin know this process, because sometimes there was like weeks I was coming up every 2 or 3 days, like, oh yeah, I have a new example. Can you test it? So I was like, maybe we tried all that. That's shit. That's shit. Okay, that's good. Oh, it's broken. And like this phase was like, I think kind of half in a year. So 1 year ago, through all this winter time, I was at the point that I had wheels that were 3D printed, and I kind of sold some of them. There was a little stock on my Instagram, and also some wheels in the ASI Berlin shop.
Yeah, and
And
there
after
I picked up
1 year,
one.
yeah, you also had a set of that, but there was quite some problems at this time because the process for wheel making was new, and the problem is like when you have a material that's not a whole material, like when you kind of drill wheels on these huge banks.
He
I don't
he
know the exact
he
word
he
for them.
means a lathe.
Yeah, LA, thanks. All this, you have like a complete wheel from one material, but all the 3D printing process, you have like slices. They are stick together in the process. And the problem is like when you use the material like on the wheel, there's much more force in this kind of small scale that determined to some
Yeah,
issues
so
over the time.
so yeah, the just I would just briefly jump in here since I know that you're not like too comfortable with English, so I thought I might explain this one.
Yeah, sorry.
I'm glad that you're willing to do this. So the problem,
Yeah, it's kind of
yeah,
complicated for me because the
yeah, no
vocabulary
worries,
is pretty hard in
and
this
I know
process.
a bit about printing, so maybe I can jump in. So the problem is 3D printers, basically all of them work with layers. So you have a material, it comes in from one direction, and in a lot of them, like it flows through gravity and it wants to go to the bottom. So you basically have a material on top of old material, and on top of there you have another wave of new material, and so on and so on. And the smaller the object is, the more the force will, like, the more, when the when one layer is only like a bit thicker than a hair, but the whole wheel is only like a couple millimeters, like in itself, then then
5.
the width of one layer is like already a big chunk of the wheel. So if you would do a skateboard wheel, for example, one layer would still only be like something like the width of like two hairs or something like that. So the smaller you get, the smaller, the bigger the layer is in like relation to the rest, and because of that it's more prone to be brittle, since a lot of force is distributed through a small object, and those layers tend to break apart at the seam.
Perfect. That's exactly what I wanted to say. What could be my words. Thanks for that. Thanks for that. Yeah. But there was like some wheels I sold, and we all wrote
Wrote them.
wrote them at the time. But then there came up some issues because of this problem you just explained, because the wheel started to delaminating at some points where the force, or how the pressure of the impact by riding will kind of delaminate the wheel. But I changed up the shape and came to a point like 2 to 3 months after that. It was like at the beginning of this year, I had a shape that worked. But when I figured out this shape, I had another problem because my material was mixed from different materials over this whole phase of trial and error. And one material I needed the most were changed from the mixture from the factory. And so I don't have the same material anymore, like in the whole process before. And that was the point I was, kind of, how you call it?
A bit frustrated and
Frustrated after a year.
yeah, and I remember you saying like, I don't know if I even want to continue.
Yeah, because it was really frustrating, because I worked for this like a whole year all night because it was like I was on this project. It was like I wanted to figure out how I can make this work. But on the other hand, it was like, okay, the material changed, but on the same point was like, okay, even if I changed up the shape of the wheel won't handle the forces of riding
Yeah, so
at the end.
for everyone who isn't too familiar with 3D printers, the thing is, each material basically needs a bit of configuration of your printer and the thing you want to print. And when one aspect
Yeah,
of
all the exposure
and
times.
when one of that part of the equation changes, you basically have to start over with everything else. So that was the main issue, that the shape was finally done and then the material wasn't there anymore.
Yeah. It was kind of, it
Yeah.
sucked. Let's say it really sucked. But this was exactly on the point COVID even started. So I was at home. I was frustrated on one hand, but on the other hand, it was like, okay, just I have the base with the 3D printing. I mean, I can use the 3D printer to print like like an uh,
A
um
mold?
an wheel. Yeah, kind of a mold. Just the wheel itself, but with the other material that's harder. So I have a wheel with a good shape and a good um
Hmm?
structure. Sorry, a good structure, and I can use this wheel to build molds. So I had the opportunity to use my all my experience I had with the 3D printer over a year to use this for molding, and then changed it up and was like, okay, I can print all shapes I want to have on a molded wheel. And that was kind of cool, because from one point I was really upset. It changed to, oh, okay, I can use this in a different way, just to use it as a base on a molded wheel. So let's
And
change it up
you
and start anew.
already knew that the wheel itself would work.
Yeah, of course, because there are many molded wheels on the
Yeah,
market.
but also
So
that
I was,
the shape you were coming up with, you already knew what you wanted and how to create that. So you were like
yeah,
at the
kind of.
point.
That was a
Yeah.
cool point. I was like, one of the main things that's the hardest, I think, in a wheel at the end is not only the shape of the wheel and how it rolls. So more important nowadays, in my opinion, is like, because there's so many wheel producers at the market right now, it's like you want to have a good bearing seat. So that's one of the main points. You want a bearing seat where the bearing don't pop out of the wheel by using. And many of also the well known
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
Yeah, yeah. I had a
wheel makers on the market had issues
I had a
already.
few issues with
Yeah,
that with one particular company in the past, but yeah.
yeah. And at this point, I kind of happy with the end result at this time. Also, actually, because there are not that many issues with that.
Mm-hmm.
So at the end, it's like now at the point I'm now, it's like 2 years from the beginning, and it's changed so much up, and it was all the process, and it's still a process, and it's so cool because there was no from the beginning there was no end to see,
Yeah.
and there will be no end. Because even after a year I was like thinking, yeah, okay, at the end I have a good wheel and that's it. It was like, okay, everything changed. So I have to start new and rethink that, because even if it had worked kind of, at the end I maybe had to change it a half year later if the thing with the
Mm-hmm.
material didn't happen. So it's like, okay, don't think of the end of the process. So the process is the process you want by um, editing more details to wheel, and I don't have the words for
In
that. Um,
in Germany, we have a saying for that, which I don't think that one exists in English, but it would loosely translate to uh, "the goal is the way."
yeah, I want to
Yeah,
say that, but it's a problem.
yeah,
It's like it's the way, it's not the
yeah. So
goal.
it's
You
all
want to
about the
have the way.
journey. So
Yeah, exactly.
the goal is just to have a cool journey and see where it takes you, and not being like, okay, I want to do this particular thing exactly that way. And yeah, um, one thing that I found really cool, like I've been following the 3D printer movement for like probably more than a decade. I never actually
Mm.
committed to buying one, but yeah, I've been around 3D printers probably longer than most people have heard of them, and uh, I'm obsessed with one of the former hosts of MythBusters, and he's like really huge in the maker scene and doing stuff scene, and like he once had a quote about all the 3D printing movement, where he said that in the last few years, uh, rapid prototyping turned to
Yeah.
rapid manufacturing, and
Mm.
that is like pretty much the key and why it works with wheels, and that's why
Yeah.
I find this whole thing really really interesting, and really like how you approach it, because you started with, okay, I will use this 3D printer as the end goal, and then you realize you can do a much better process with just using it as one part of a tool in many tools. And yeah, I just think that wheels and wheels are like the breakout market at the moment, where I think
Absolutely.
because of
At the moment,
technologies,
it's
yeah,
hard.
because of technologies like that, I think that's why we see so many wheel companies pop up, and maybe someone will figure out a similar solution for trucks soon, because there have been trucks around for a while, but I think it was even with you where we talked that it's funny that there used to be a company that only produced hangers and used China truck base plates, and now there's a company that produces base plates and only uses China truck hangers. And I think,
They should go buy
yeah, and
that.
as soon as someone figures out how to do the whole thing, I think that's when the whole truck market will see a small revolution in the fingerboard world.
Yeah, I think so, because the last wheel companies or other fingerboard companies, they pop up for my realization, like every 2 or 3 days I see a new company who produce wheels. Like, okay, maybe the market is like overflowing at the moment, And but on the other hand, all the pictures looked really good and like a good manufactured wheel. It's like, okay, crazy. And like you say, with the trucks, with the 3D prototyping and stuff like that, it's like, okay, when wheel companies started so hard at the moment, maybe in the future there will be more companies for trucks,
Mm.
hopefully. But on the other hand, it's like, okay, it's like how you call it, a little bit not indifferent. Got it. My English is bad. Sorry for that.
What do you want to say? Say the German word if you don't mind.
Ich fühle mich ein bisschen zwiegespalten.
You're a bit torn apart.
Yeah, a bit torn apart because it's like, on one hand, it's like, okay, there are more products, and from my eyes, like from the producing side, they look good. But on the other hand, all the companies they popped up is like, okay, there's no names I know, so there's nothing. I have the feeling that it's something that's going back to the seed.
Mm.
It's more like seeing like, oh, people will buy wheels for $30. Oh, that's nice. I can produce them,
Mm.
and they will be good maybe. And okay, I'm in. And that's the problem for me. Is like I have a mixed feeling
Yeah.
about that at the end.
Yeah, and also the cost. I think that is something, like, now that you mention it, I I heard people, like, not about your wheel, but other wheels in the past, where they were like, "Hey, urethane is like not that expensive, so $30 for a set of bearings and a bit of urethane is so expensive and things." And like, I've seen you work on those little fuckers for, yeah, almost 2 years now, and
Yeah.
all the trial and error and searching and trying things and buying something to dry them and something to print them and files, and like, all of that time is something we need to we need to incorporate in when we price something. So just because you can make a deck with very little preparation and just take the time that you need to make the deck, like, that's the amount of time a deck takes, like pressing it, filing it down, like rough sanding and fine sanding. And with a wheel, it's like much more. You pour it, do cleanup, and then it's done. You don't have to, like, but
No, but the problem is like the work before
exactly
before
before you
all the
even start.
manufacturing. It's
Yeah,
way harder, I would say. But
exactly.
I don't want to
Yeah.
compare it at the end because it's like some products are so unique
Mhm.
and there are so many different aspects
Yes.
that kind of fluent into it. And the funny thing is, when we talk about money, I would say, and how you fix the price for wheel or a product, it's really hard. But because at the beginning you are like, okay, the material is not that expensive, so I will be selling them
Mhm.
cheaper. But in the end, there's like, okay, there's the market. So how many I can produce at my own
Yeah.
because I'm just one person and I want to take my time for that. And on the other hand, it's like with everything I was doing over the last 2 years, even with setting, it's like, okay, I'm now kind of at a point of break even.
Yeah.
It's like you don't really know that, but oh, that's $30 for a pair of wheels. But at the end, it's like, okay, I didn't make any money off it at
Yeah,
this
I mean,
point. It's like I just paid my bills for all this material and all the
yeah,
machines at the end,
I re-
and that's without time of
yeah,
work.
like, recently I looked into resin printers again, because I do a lot of miniature work with for Dungeons and Dragons. So I was like, yeah, maybe it's worth it. But then I was like, nah, for like $400 before you even, like, start anything. Like, I can do much cooler hobby things with $400, and like, all those purchases, you don't see them reflected anywhere in the product, and that goes, like, that's the same for a lot of the, let's call them well-produced fingerboard items. Like, I think we both can tell if a board is pressed with a plastic mold or with a like beefy metal mold.
Absolutely. After all this year, you have the experience, so you see
And
that. Even with wheels and also other stuff you get in the ASI shop.
yeah,
Sorry, I have to
yeah,
do that. Yeah, sorry.
yeah, and those
But
all are like costs that you don't see or that you don't really think about when you just buy the product. Same with trucks. We talked about that when I had Mike on a while ago, where he talked about that like just producing a mold for trucks is really, 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 really expensive, and that you basically need to sell trucks for quite a while before you even break even.
yeah.
And
And it's
yeah,
hard as a single person. It's like, okay, I had this idea, I want to start that, but I don't have the money to do that. And on the other hand, it's like, okay, where can I get it? And it is worth that I just get in debt
yeah,
for
yeah,
that. It's like, okay, can I do that? So for trucks, it's really
yeah,
hard to do that, I
yeah.
think.
And like you've mentioned that you're doing it alone, but I think what you also need to mention is that you are studying and you basically do
Yeah.
this out of your bedroom. Like, so a lot of
Yeah.
other wheel manufacturers have like a workshop where they can set up all their workstation and their different stages of the process, and have dedicated work areas, and can spend like a day just standing in a workshop. And yeah, that yeah,
No.
that's not really.
It's kind of a dream to do that and have your own
Yeah,
workshop. But
that's
on
been
the
my
other hand,
dream
it's like
for ages.
it's
Like,
yeah. We talked about that a lot.
just having a workbench in my living room has been
Yeah,
a dream fulfilled.
yeah, for me too. It's something I'm thinking about all the time at the moment. It's like, okay, throw out some stuff,
Yeah,
put in a
and
and have
and
to work. It's another
for
flow.
Christmas I got a nice leather work apron, and
Oh, nice.
I'm more stoked about not getting my clothes dirty than I think most other presents that I got for Christmas.
Oh, that's so
Yeah,
nice. That's so
but
nice. But that's the point. Like people sometimes think like on the fingerboard product at this state, it's like okay, there's an Instagram page and there's product that looked well produced, and they already start thinking like, okay, that's a company behind it.
mhm,
And for me, it's like, no, I'm just one person.
yeah,
And I do it in my free time, kind of. And it's like, nah, I don't want to be stressed out, so I want to do it on my own
yeah,
pace. So it should work
and
out
and
and should be good.
how like some companies have been doing it for forever. Like, that's part of the reason why getting a preet is no trivial thing, because Peter
Yeah.
does it in his free time, and if he gets around to it, he gets around to it. If not, he has a kid and a job. So yeah.
But I think kind of I like this kind of producing
Mm-hmm.
stuff for the scene. So for me, it's like okay, you feel like there's passion behind it, and it's like okay, it's not money. It's like okay, it's an idea. I want to have my own kind of. Even with the wheels, would be like okay, I figured out how all this worked out, but at the end, I made a wheel for myself,
Exactly.
and it's cool that people like that wheel because it wasn't the idea from the beginning.
Mm-hmm.
I have to say it too. It was like people started like, okay, I like them. Can I try them? And you in the shop was like, okay, I made use it. I made use it. And all the time I was like, Timo carrying up like, can you make me some sets for the shop?
Yeah.
And it was like, yeah, okay, we can do that. Sometimes I feel like, okay, when there's too much work, it's like, the work isn't good. It's like I need the time for that, and I want to take my time for that, and so I don't have like regular stock dropping or stuff like that. It's like, okay, kind of trying different materials, working with colors, and yeah, when I'm ready with a stock or I want to do that, it's like, okay, I have 10 sets. Figure out how you can get them. Maybe at the shop, maybe at my page. Try to contact me, but don't be disappointed when there's no opportunity to get a
Yeah.
set at the moment. Sorry. I have to excuse myself at this point because I don't want to make a big business out of it at the moment.
But
So.
I mean, already I've met quite a few people who like where your wheels are their favorite wheel right now, and even
I
yeah,
heard that, yeah.
even my friend Ben from Good Vibes, uh, he's all the way in Texas, and yeah, he's also a fan of it, and I think you really made something awesome there, and yeah,
It's a good feeling. I appreciate that absolutely, and it's kind of lovely to hear
yeah,
that. But on the other, I was like, yeah, it's just doing my stuff.
yeah.
Cool. Thanks for that.
Yep, and one thing I wanted to talk about is since we are like a bunch of locals who hang out at the shop together, like we're like when it's not like Corona time, we usually meet there like at least once a week, maybe
Mm.
multiple times, however we get around to the shop, and we I think we obsess over fingerboarding on a bit of a different level than others because we push each other all the time and we talk about fingerboarding all the time. And I think when it comes to judging how a product is made, that is something all of us locals from the shop are really good at because we've seen basically every deck manufacturer, we've seen a lot of wheel manufacturers, we've seen
Of course.
pretty much every truck there is. We have seen people doing things for themselves without even selling them, and so we and we also like when we get a new deck, we're like, okay, this is like half a millimeter or like this, yeah, a point something too wide, and the nose is like,
We get a start to get
yeah, we
picky.
get really
Absolutely.
picky. And I think because of that, we all of us have a good understanding what we like, and you really took that knowledge and made something to specifications you basically already knew. You just had to get there.
Yeah, absolutely. That's a
Yeah,
process, but yeah, it's harder than it
it sounds.
that it
Yeah,
sounds. It's like I tried to change that, and I have to say it's like I made a wheel that fit my kind of style and how I want to ride a wheel. But at the end, it's like there's so many different other products I still use because I like them for their purpose.
hmm, yeah, and
Is it
yeah,
right?
yeah,
Yeah.
that's absolutely correct. And I'm also a big fan of using the right tool for the job. So depending
Yeah.
what surface I'm on, I might choose a different wheel. And even like some of your older wheels, I think we're much more on the like this current iteration is like the most all-round wheel, I would say. Some of the others
Mhm.
were like too sticky on wood and perfect on concrete, and yeah, so yeah, I still always have a set of like flat face wheels with me, like a deck with flat face wheels, because on some grounds you really want that like very slippery feel of a flat face wheel, and on some surfaces you want all the grip you have, and
Absolutely on your side.
yeah,
Like you know me, and it's like I changed my kind of setups over the last 2 3 years so many
yeah,
times, and from starting like having one setup, I changed to like having four setups at the moment. with different wheels, different width of the board and trucks and hardness of the trucks. It's like there's kind of one type of setup I like at the end, but I love to try out,
That,
and I don't have a problem like riding different wheels
that's why I have
out
them.
of my
Yeah,
wheel.
that's why I have so many setups as well, because I know what I like. I always have one main setup, but yeah, I like to have options, and it's like you you don't, like, most people don't only have one t-shirt or one set of shoes. Like, most of the time, like with t-shirts, you only need a couple so you can wash them, but with shoes, like, you only ever use one pair of shoes. But still, it's nice to have options, and same is with fingerboarding. Once you have at the level where you can afford that or have collected that over the years, it's you don't need to have four setups, but it's just nice to have options.
It's nice, and sometimes it's like, yeah, the eyes are faster than
Yeah. Some,
a warthog.
sometimes you're like, I need to have that.
Yeah, it's like, oh, it's so nice. Oh,
Yeah.
fuck it. And the other problem is like, from my point, it's like I know the people they stand behind the brands, so
Yes.
it's like, oh, this is coming in. Oh, I like that. I like this work. Ah, fuck it, I will buy it.
Yeah, like
Sometimes I just try it for maybe just 2 or 3 days, and I kind of like it, but it's not perfect for my fit. It's like, okay, but it's nice, so I set it there, and maybe in some
yeah.
month I will set up it again and try it again, and my view changed kind of, and I can
Yeah.
try it again.
Like
It's cool.
a while ago I bought one of the Gallo decks at ASI, just because I know that Gallo has been really supportive of the shop. They have been really awesome. All of you seem to like this shape, and I was like, I just have to try it. It probably isn't my shape, since I don't really like that kind of old school shape that it is. But I was like, might as well give it a try.
Absolutely, and I loved exactly this shape. So the audio shape you bought is like, I had one setup with this shape and oak wheels and 34 BRTs, and I wrote it for half a
Wasn't
year.
wasn't
It
that
was
the
like a super wide board, and it was like just trashing for my style, not exactly fitting, but it's just fun.
yeah,
It was like, don't think too much about technique. It's like, just have fun.
yeah.
It's okay. It's the right setup for that. It's like, just sitting it.
But let's circle back to your
Sorry.
wheel journey again, because I know that recently there's been like another change in how you make your wheel and how it may look.
You made the
Yes, I
colored
mean
wheels,
colors.
or okay, that's that's a hard journey. We talked about it a
Yeah,
lot, so yeah, it's kind of so. I have to say one thing. It's like I just love white wheels. First point, and all the material I use is like urethane, resin stuff, and at the end, this is most of the time this is white, so it fit perfectly. But there's some people like you, Jana.
who
Uh,
have to color code all of their. I don't even know at how many setups I am. I think I'm at 12
yeah,
currently.
yeah, something around that, and people want colored wheels, so it's not what I exactly love, but it's like, okay, people want that, and sometimes I kind of like that too. At the moment, I like four colored wheels in one setup just for fun, because this was some plans that laying around. But the problem is like with material like polyurethane, you have to pour. I colored the material at the moment with different color pigments, but this kind of changed
The
the hardness of the material.
basically the chemistry of the wheel.
Yeah, yeah, and it's still okay, because there's some people like Bene for sure, Soundsphere,
Yeah.
you know him, hopefully.
I certainly do. He actually started the podcast with me 2 years ago. For maybe
Yeah,
those
yeah.
listeners who might know
And
him.
another fun fact: he came up with the name for Harz4, but we can figure that
Yeah,
out
that's on my list.
at the next point. Yeah, and he's someone who likes the little bit harder reel. I don't like that too much because I'm more on the white material, but I have to say that. So it's kind of on any we set I had got it. I sold over my Instagram. There was the color ones for Soundsphere, like his signature model and his favorite color. I even tell the people who ordered, like, yeah, you have to know if you had another white set and you like this, I have to remind you that the colored wheel is a little bit harder.
Yeah.
But for me, it's like, okay, I want to have a material, so that's the point where I just still buying different materials. So material costs. I have to sell wheels to have the money for that on this point. So don't blame me for try to get money out of selling products. I want to come to the point where I have like different colored materials that have the same hardness.
Mm.
And that's still the process I have to go. And then I want to make some other
Yeah.
shapes, hopefully in the future.
Yeah, because
Who knows?
I also know that there are people who really like a very large wheel, and
Yeah. But I have to find a more soft material at the moment that I like. I have different soft materials, but I don't like them. And at the end, it's like, sorry, maybe you like
Yeah.
that, but no, it's
Yeah,
on my hand. When I don't like that, you won't buy that.
like if you're the one making it, I think you have to be the one who has to like your own product. Like if
Yeah.
you're not behind your own product, who else will be? Like,
Yeah. The most critic comes from my
yeah,
side. So.
the biggest critic is always you, and if it's not you, then maybe others are correct.
Maybe I should stop that process. Absolutely.
No, I think the wheels are awesome, and I think they do behave differently, but yeah, you basically just have to break them in a bit or a bit
Yeah.
longer, depending on what ground you usually ride on.
But it's mostly on UC
Yeah.
wheels. You have to break them in,
Yeah.
kind of. But because there's another curve than a flat face wheel with a hard material. It's like the opposite direction for me. It's like when you get a new flat face wheel from the beginning, it's like super nice and flowy, and with the time it got more kind of scratched in. So when you have a hard material, that's some chunks kind of come out of the wheel, and it's not that fluent anymore. It's like the different on Euroscene. At the beginning, it's like a little bit rough, and at the end, it's super soft. It's like, I like this kind of how this material change over the time.
Yeah, how it ages.
How it ages, yeah.
Yeah, so how did the name come about?
It's super cool to explain a German
Yes,
joke in English.
yes,
That will work in English, but we have to explain it
I will try to assist you if you hit a roadblock.
Okay, I try to start there. It's like I don't have a name at the beginning because there was no product or no business behind that, and I just was working with resin, with liquid resin for this printer. And the word for resin in Germany, it's Harz. HRR. RC.
Or is that?
It's like the Z.
Yeah,
I'm
I'm never quite sure. Like, either the Americans say Z and the English people say Z, but yeah, however you call it where you live.
Yeah. And that's the German word for resin. And also we at this point, Jana,
Yeah,
please
yeah,
help me.
I can jump in. So
My English is too bad to
yeah,
explain
so
this.
in like Germany is a country where we pay a lot of taxes, but we get a lot of shit out of it. So we get a lot of cool things and cool support. And one of the support structures is that if you don't have a job, you still get money to live. So there are different levels how much you get and how long you're off work, and usually it's the first half year after you've been working, let's say for 3-4 years, you get a relatively good amount of money, even though you're not working, but only if you got laid off. And then after a while, if you still don't manage to get a job, then you get only a smaller amount of money to just cover all your expenses. But to do that, you have to like go to the authority every once in a while, check in, show that you're actually trying to get a job, do training things, and all of that jazz. And with and the thing we have today is a policy that got created like maybe 12 years ago, no, 16 years ago, so a while ago, but still when we were young. And that was a huge controversy when it got created, and it got like the mastermind behind all of that was a guy called a politician and like financial mogul.
Minister?
Yeah, no, yes,
No.
he's like really big in like finance and like just yeah, just he does a lot of things and earns a lot of money. So he's an investor
Yeah.
kind of person, and he came up with the thing. And because of that guy who created the policy got called Harz after his name, but spelled differently than the material, and fear because of like a ranking structure that they use for the various types of amounts of money that you get and all of that thing. So now if you're since it's been around for that long, if you don't have a job and get that like minimum wage amount of money, you're like, I'm getting Harz4. And that, yeah, that is basically where the play on words comes in, because it's Harz, it's resin, and it's 4 wheels, but it's mostly, yeah, the name of the program.
Yeah, it sounds really similar, and it all came up with a joke from Bene, actually, from Soundsphere. He was like coming in, we're talking about wheels and all the process with the 3D printing, and that I'm using resin, and he was just joking around. Was like, that's funny. Just let's call them Harz4. Everybody was staring. I was like, what? Why? Yeah, because it's Harz. It's resin. It's Harz. It's funny. Sounds kind of similar. And why the four? Yeah, it's 4 wheels. It's like Harz4. It describes the product
Yeah, it
perfectly. It's
actually
like
does.
resin 4. It's like, okay, perfect. I stick with that. And yeah,
Yeah,
now we're there. It's maybe not that easy for not German
yeah, and
people, but at the
I,
end, it
I'm
sounds
I'm never
interesting.
quite sure how to call them when I'm talking English, because I want to say Harz4 wheels because that's what we call them. But
Yeah.
yeah, for the sake of our English speaking audience, I usually go with Harz4 wheels.
Yeah, but the people always also have problem with ASI Berlin shop or the ASI as a team, and it's quite common, so it's
Yeah,
okay.
they always say ASI, it's Aussie.
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
okay. I stick with that. It was a joke, and at the end, it's like it's perfectly fitting for
And you
me.
also basically had the logo done for you, because yeah.
Oh yeah, absolutely. I ripped off the logo
Yeah,
of
of the
I kind of ripped
yeah
it off.
of the like authority that you go to get that amount of money.
Yeah. But the good thing is, like, when I don't have a job because of them, I will get money from them.
Yeah.
So
So either you get money through Harz4 or through Harz4.
yeah, at the end it's the same. One is a joke, the other is a
Yeah.
reality. Oh, that's kind of funny at the end.
Yeah. Yeah. Let's talk a bit more about you and those things. So I would like to jump into my rapid fire section, and I'm not quite sure if you answered that the last time, but we're doing
I'm not sure.
it now anyway. Because
Maybe it changed. Who
because
knows?
last time, for those who haven't listened to that episode, it wasn't really an interview. It was more of we brought him in as like third figure in that episode, and was more a general discussion. And yeah, for now, it's a good way to reintroduce him now that maybe more people have heard of that weird company with the weird spelling from Berlin and want to know a bit about the guy who's behind it.
Okay, that's a good advertisement.
So, usually my first question is, what's your favorite wheel? For you, I will say, what's your favorite wheel besides yourself or yours?
Oh, okay. That's a good question. Either both way it would be okay, because they're not one wheel. It's like, how you know it, for different surfaces you need different
Yes.
wheels. I love my wheels because I made them. It would be stupid to don't like them at the end.
And I think they're really good all round, like they're good all-purpose
Yeah,
wheels.
it's a good all-round wheel at the end. But I also love Winkler wheels, so like the original Winkler wheels or the new Winkler wheels, because I love this material, and also flat face, like the chain
Yeah.
material, because it's more urethane, and I like them too.
Just brief briefing from my side before we continue with the actual rapid fire question. There's actually been progress on my long lost Winkler wheels from 15 years ago. They have
Really?
resurfaced. My dad had the box in his hand like a week ago, put it aside for me, and couldn't find it. But I'm 95% sure that he meant the correct box, and yeah, so maybe I will find my very first set of Winkle wheels from 2003, maybe. Yeah, something around that time.
I'm kind of hyped to see them again.
Me too. I have no idea how they look like today.
Maybe really shitty after all this
Probably.
time. It's like, oh yeah, that was good back in the days.
Yeah.
Oh no.
I mean, back then they were the non plus ultra, as we say in German. What's your favorite deck and shape?
Berlinwood, low shape, either 34 or 32. I don't mind it.
It's a classic.
Yeah.
Favorite trick on a flat?
Nollie flip.
Favorite trick on an obstacle?
Either switch flip backtail or nollie flip crooks.
Favorite song right now?
Oh, it's hard. Right now, I'm kind of listening more to German rap again. I would say like Audio 88.
I have no idea what that is.
Ja. Halleluja, Audio 88 und den Typ, den ich immer falsch ausspreche, deshalb lasse ich es einfach. All in German, the whole sentences.
He basically said that one guy and another guy. So, do you prefer outdoor or indoor fingerboarding?
Hard to say. I would say indoor at the end.
What do you do for a living, or what do you want to do for a living?
I'm a student at the moment. What I want to do for a living is nothing. Just joking. yeah, it would be cool to do my own stuff at the end of the day, that I can live out of that, hopefully, kind of. But I don't want the pressure,
Mm,
so I'm studying
yeah.
still. You need to plan B at the
Yeah,
end.
you do.
Yeah.
What's your favorite obstacle?
Just a curb, just some concrete, just granite curb.
Yes,
Or the one from Big Boiler at the moment, the green marble curb.
I
That's
I
really
haven't
cool.
tried that one yet, but
It's super crazy, super cool thing.
what's your Instagram name?
I would say at the moment she's Harz4.bln, like the site for my wheels. So that's the only site you should know at the moment. The other site is like on private, on the pause at the moment.
Uh, Concrete, wood, or granite?
As a surface, concrete for the obstacle, like granite. Yeah, wood is out of it. I don't like wood anymore.
Yeah, yeah, same. Um, yeah, the next one I don't really need to ask, but for completion's sake, switch or regular?
Oh, oh, okay, okay.
We will get to the other question soon. I know which one.
I thought it would be another
Yeah,
question,
I
so
think
this
I know which
it's kind
one.
of simple. I had to think about that. Nolly at the end.
Yeah, but
Yeah, Nolly.
yeah, you're more of a switch person than a regular person.
Yeah, absolutely. But Nolly and Switch,
Yeah,
like, okay, it's kind of similar, but it's my regular at
yeah.
the end.
Do you have hobbies outside of fingerboarding?
Yeah, many. Oh, a lot of. Let's start with the regular stuff, like kind of reading, video games, biking, if you could call it as a hobby at the
You
end.
do you do ride your bike much more than like I would say the average Joe.
Not at the moment, because now it's a cold, and
Yeah,
I had a time problem at the end, and
yeah.
yeah, I'm not consequent at the moment, but yeah, more than the average guy maybe. And I just want to start after this uh, dart world championship. At the moment, I want to start darts again, because I love to play darts,
Ah,
but I
cool,
didn't do that for the last 2 3 years, so I will start that again. So there are many hobbies, and many time
cool.
eating hobbies.
Yeah,
You
I
know
have
that
way
problem.
too many. Um,
Yeah.
what's your favorite fingerboard video?
Mm. Oh, Ed. Oh man. Oh, that's hard. I had this question on the podcast of Ollie and Tom. They just asked me this question, and I had two videos to different points of how the video translate fingerboarding to the not fingerboarding community is, like on the visual effects and how all is produced is like the one Elias Asmund video of this French guy. I just forgot his
The one
name.
with the
Or
shoes
he
and
did,
things?
yeah, with the shoes. He did all the
That one,
opus videos. Alex Milor. Alex Milor.
that one looked
He's a crazy.
amazing. Like film
Yeah, I
wise,
loved it from
yeah,
yeah. Everything, like how it's filmed, how the sounds are into it, like everything. The aesthetic is so beautiful.
yeah.
Just even for people who don't have the contact to
It's just
fingerboarding
like
before.
pure aesthetic. Like it's beautiful.
The other one is like, oh, I forgot all time. There's this one video. I will send you a link
Mhm.
after that, and maybe you can put that in the description. That's one video. I think it's from a crew from, I would say, South America, but maybe I'm wrong. This It's just a crew of I would say like 5 friends, and they just made a video that support it gave this it's hard to explain. It's like the special feeling of how it feels to be in a community like this,
Mhm.
and how you have fun with fingerboarding. And it's really hard tricks, not pretty good filmed, but the feeling of the video is so intense. I have the problem that I have problem with names and all video
Yeah.
stuff like that, because normally I just found that video after some months again. It's like, oh yeah, cool, I know that.
Yeah.
But I don't have a list for that. That's a problem. I have to search for it, and you can put it in the
Yeah.
description,
I will.
because that's one of the videos I would say all people who are connected to fingerboarding and love that and have a passion for that should watch exactly this video, because that transported exactly that feeling for me.
And I usually think of
And
myself very up to date on the fingerboard scene and all the media, and I don't really know which one you're talking about. So
oh yeah, I found it.
ah,
I think I found it. Yeah, yeah. It's the channel is Paulo Matos. Hopefully I spelled that right. It get launched
got released.
7 years ago. Get
Okay,
released
so it
7 years
was
ago.
before my time.
And the video is true. Also true, the
Yeah,
word, big letters. The real fingerboard video. And I love this video. Since I saw it the first time, it's like every time I see this video, it's like, I don't know these guys. For me, they're no names actually on the scene. Maybe they are, well, who knows? But at the end, it's like, you see the video and you feel like, okay, they have so much passion for that, and they have so much fun doing that stuff. It's kind of weird. It's not explicit good filmed or good produced, in my opinion, nowadays. But it's fucking cool. I love this
I
video.
really need
I
to
have to
watch
say
that
that.
after we're done.
Yeah,
Um,
we can watch it together
yeah,
after that.
absolutely. If you could get one Black River park, which one would you get?
You know the answer.
Yeah, the one everyone likes and I
It's
hate
the
it.
one. Yeah, just because of the
Yeah,
waves. I mean, I love the. I have to say it. I love the G8 because just a good arranged park overall. On the other hand, I also loved the G7 before with the big handrail you
mhm,
also had on your
yeah,
park. This was also a good park, but not for run, from my opinion. Like the G8 is perfect. It's like, okay, you can get around it, you can ride it switch or regular,
I'm,
and there's so many different spots, in my opinion. You can mod that
yeah.
park,
I think
how you see it at the Steig. The Steig modded this park so
yeah,
crazy,
but
kind
I
of.
think that park, like for me, that park is really poor. Like I hate the wobble. I hate that on the for a right-handed rider, the regular stair set, like close to the quarter pipe. That one
Yep.
has like 15 centimeters of run up. It,
Yeah, it's a little. It's
yeah, like
small.
if that
Yeah.
had like 10 more or 15 centimeters more, that would be perfect. And then on the other side of the park, there's just like a bunch of stairs going down, and that's it. Like there's no end to the park. And I,
But also I think it's like kind of a nostalgic thing with
yeah,
this park. It's like the time where the park get released, and there was so
yeah,
many events in Germany around
and
that
I
time,
wasn't
and
around.
you had that park at every fucking event. And at the
That's the
beginning, I
G3 for
would
me.
say
Yeah,
I the
that's
choose
the
yeah.
same with the G3. Every event
Mm,
had that.
mm. And maybe that's the reason why I like this park so much, because it rode it so
Yeah, and
much.
I wasn't around for that
Maybe.
time where it was like so hugely popular. So
Mm.
I just looked at it and was like, not enough space here, not enough space here, stupid wobbles I don't like, and a small set of stairs that you ride towards yourself and have a really awkward angle with your arm. So yeah,
Yeah, but the point is like I love the planter and I love the
yeah,
rail, and that's enough
yes,
for me.
that's true. I really like the gap, the kicker
Yeah,
rail gap combo. I really like the the backside curb over the other gap. I kind of like the start thing. If it had a bit more run up, it would be perfect. But yeah, the start handrail or the start granite block manual pad outlet thing, and I also really like the half pyramid to quarter pipe London gap.
Mhm.
So there are a lot of things I like, and that's maybe why I'm so harsh on it, because I'm like, it could be the perfect park if it just had like a bit more space, and
Yeah, but at the end there is no perfect aqua
that's true.
park. You have your corners and your spaces where also I think like you should have change that up, and maybe there was a better solution,
Yeah,
but
I think that would be the park I would buy and then just mod the shit out of it.
yeah, absolutely. There's a good
Yeah,
base to make a perfect
and
park when you don't have the
and
knowledge
would
to
just
create it completely
would
yourself.
just sell the wobbles on eBay to someone who likes them.
To a
Yeah,
collector.
just rip them out.
Hint.
um, Now I think we're getting to the media questions. Heel flip or kick flip?
I hate kickflips. I can't do them. I'm so stupid on this trick. I don't understand it. I completely understand the trick, how to do
And
that.
it's not like you.
But after 15 years, it's still like I don't get it
Yes,
completely. So there's sometimes it's like, oh yeah, I completely understand that. I can do that to everything, and the other days like completely forgot about how it works.
yeah. I remember one particular evening where you had to take a shot for each time you did land a regular kick flip.
Yeah, was a
It
short
didn't
evening
end
for
well, yeah.
me.
Um,
Yeah.
uh, who's your favorite fingerboarder to watch? Could be live,
Watch.
could be on videos.
Oh, I hate this question. I have to say that I don't want to give a answer, to be honest, because there's too
Okay,
many people out there. There's not
then
one
then
person. At the end is
let's
yeah.
rephrase that question. Do you have a favorite writer who's quite active in the scene right now? Because like there are always like the OGs uh, Elias, Fabian Schreiter, Boris Dici. Like they're always the and Winkler. They're always the ones who've been around for ages. But is there someone who's maybe even newer in the scene who you really enjoy?
The point is like he will hate me that I say that again, but I mean it really honest. Is like one of the person I like the most to see fingerboarding because the style is so kind of unique for me because it's so perfect and so clean, and yeah, it's I have to say it's Bene. Absolutely. When I see his kickflips and shove it combinations, it's like I didn't see them like that
The,
before
the,
because it's so fucking
the,
perfect when you do it. It's like that's how a shove it should work or
the,
kickflip.
the,
It's
the
like
thing with his
oh
style is it looks so effortless. Like
yeah,
and
absolutely.
we have this joke like every time like I'm really good at 360 pop shove it. He's really good at every 180 shove it variation. So regular shove, switch shove, nollie shove, fakey shove, all of that thing. So every time he does a shove it in a game of skate, and I don't understand how it's done, like a nollie shove, upper curb into a 5-0, and it looks so effortless. He's like, yeah, just whoop it, like just flick it, and
It's just an average shotgun, oh,
yeah.
but
In German we say
flip.
einfach fluppen, just flip it, and
Just flip it.
it's like just a whoop, and it turns around 180 degrees for him, and I don't understand how that works.
And that's so crazy. It's like on his tricks, like kickflip combinations and shove it combinations. Like I didn't I didn't see something that's comparable to
Yeah,
that at the end. It's like sorry, even if he's my friend, and I could say yeah, it's also kind of personal thing because he's a good friend of
yeah,
mine. But shove it away.
yeah,
It's like only on the style and how he did that is
and
like
he's
totally crazy. I
and
love that
he's
to see that.
so particular about the trick. if he doesn't land it 100% perfect, then he's like, no, it doesn't count.
No.
And
That's so cool.
I'm still trying to learn from that mindset. I've gotten a lot better over the years. Still room to grow.
Yeah, absolutely.
What was your first event and when?
We have to take it short because it's another connection point between
You and me, yeah.
you and me. Because I started when you
When I
just
left.
quit at that moment.
Yeah, it was the last year.
So
it was the second to last event for me before my break.
So my first real event, I can call it like that, is like the Stabilo demo. Was a little contest, I think, demo
Yeah, it was
event
more
in
a
Karlsruhe.
get together for a company. Yeah.
Yeah.
For
And
non-fingerboarding.
this event was like in 2007. This was my first event I was going to, and meet some people from the scene.
Similar with Bene, like with him, I was like, yeah, we should have met back then, but we didn't. And with you, it was like, yeah, I don't think we ever met back then. And then someone dug up photos where we said we are on the same photo, and it's like, oh yeah, we must have met.
Yeah, the German scene is quite small at the end, so everybody knows everybody at the end when he's going to events.
What was your favorite memory that you connect with fingerboarding, or your favorite event?
There's so many, so many cool events and memories about these events. I would say I would say actually it was like last year, the Fast Fingers event.
It was a good one.
And not big. Yeah, I love this one because
everyone was there.
Everyone was there after years.
Like,
and it's not only because of the Fast Fingers event itself. It was for me personally more like how it get out at the Steig with all the people, and it was so familiar. It was so nice and
like
honest.
Seeing people,
it feels so honest. What was like, yeah, we still stick together.
like,
it's kind of a family.
Seeing people like Tobias Fieler and Fabian Schreiter and like I don't know, like there was so many people you hadn't seen in years, and yeah, like Dimitri and Elias and all the other guys that still are around and still go to events all the time, but you don't like Oberle and people from all over the world, and yeah,
it was sick and crazy. But on the other hand,
it
felt like small and personal at the end, and not that it was like a huge event at the end. And on the other hand, it's like, this year where we was going to Herford to the event for Pascal's event. Yeah, it was so nice. I can't explain it. That feeling. It was like how events was back in the days, like in a small hall with not that many people, and everything was like, yeah, we are freaks.
Yeah,
but I
was
that.
so bummed that I couldn't go.
Yeah, you want there. Yes, but next time,
absolutely.
Hopefully, it will be the same. Hopefully.
What's your favorite food?
Ramen.
That's a callback to
I hear that, but I stick with that. Ramen is sick.
In the last episode with Good Vibes, he was like, "Oh, I need to go to shop one day, and we have to hang out." And he was like, "Yeah." And my favorite food is ramen. I was like, I know just the place.
I heard that one. You gave me the access to it, and I heard it the last day. It was like, oh, I'm so on yours. So I'm so I see you coming to Germany. I want to meet all of the people from Good
Yeah,
Vibes.
same.
I have a good vibe for that.
Absolutely. Loose, tight, or medium trucks? And everyone says medium, but I think it means different things for everyone.
Yeah, absolutely. I have not one way to go. It's definitely not hard at the moment. I would say it's more medium, but I had times where we're really
Yeah.
loosey. But I would say medium at the
Yeah,
moment.
because I always think of my trucks as medium, but I think I'm on a very hard side of the scale.
Yeah, Bean is also thinking about he is riding
Yeah,
medium.
yeah. I've seen him snap, I think, more than one kingpin. Just saying.
I would say sticks and stone would break my bones. I guess.
Yeah.
Oh man. Yeah.
What was your last personal NBD? So the last trick you landed that you were really stoked about.
Kickflip. No, it was actually a kickflip. It was a kickflip hurricane. I tried that
On
kind
the
of
red
on one
red
day.
rail
It
or
felt good. No, irregular, not switch.
oh yeah, yeah, right.
The hard way, not the easy way. So that was really hard for me to do it clean and nice and flowing.
I love that trick. I do it all the time.
Kickflip hurricane, yeah. It's a cool trick. I like that, but I can't do that normally. I had to work for it really hard.
couldn't do that once,
and that felt good. I can do that switch.
Yeah, I know.
It felt more easy, to be honest.
So I think this is the question you were thinking about earlier. What's your most hated trick in the game of skate? And why is it kickflip?
No, it's not kickflip. Actually, I have to change it up. It's like, okay, now that's not that good to say that because everybody will know my strategy when I had a strategy. I have to start with kickflips. When I do them, that's okay. When I have to do them, it's hard for me. But the most hated trick to do after when I have to do it as a how you call it the second Verteidigung. Yeah, I would say it's fakey tree.
Yeah, I hate that one on different.
When I have to do it on pressure, I hate fakey trees.
Same.
I don't hate it actually, but when I had to do a fakey tree on pressure, it's like I can't do this trick anymore. It's like
absolutely the same. Like when I'm at my park and like just messing around doing like a fakey tray switch 5 or something like that, I really like doing that. But when I'm in a game of skate and have to do a fakey tray, I'm like sweating and like shit, I hate it.
It's like just like a cramp in your hand, kind of. It's like don't feel natural on pressure.
I mean, there are much more nicer feeling tricks like 360 pop shovels, right?
Yeah, absolutely. I can't do them switch. It's okay. It's fair at the end.
I think you answered the plastic or urethane question already, so we'll just skip that. What's your favorite beverage?
I waited for this question because you will also know this answer. It's like, yeah, Paulaner Spezi.
I actually have an empty bottle right in front of me.
Yeah, because it's the best beverage on the market.
Yeah. I just stopped drinking so much of it because it's like it's a non-alcoholic drink, and but it has so much sugar in it. And
absolutely, and I don't buy that stuff at home.
Yeah.
I don't have that at home. It's like just when I go out and I go to the shop and there's a Spedi nearby, it's like, okay, I can get a Spedi.
Yeah,
but I can't buy that stuff for at home because it will be empty.
I made the mistake having cases of that at home, and it wasn't great.
heaven and hell
Yes.
nearby.
Do you have sponsors?
Actually, yeah. Yeah, one I know of. I'm writing for Berlinwood
No
since
biggie.
many years now. Yeah. And that's it, I think.
And
Yeah. Yeah.
do you have writers that write for you?
Not officially. Like to
Ah,
say
okay.
it. It's hard. But, they're writing for me because they're family, they're friends, kind of. I mean, also you got a pair of wheels I gave you
Yeah,
because
but
yeah, you like my friend,
yeah,
so get it. So it's hard to say it at the end. So when I will made up a team at the moment, so the persons they're actually kind of officially on the team is like Bene, Soundsphere on Instagram, Nolly, p.ilo on
from
Instagram,
the Berlin shop.
and Gene Sengels at the moment when there would be a
Yeah,
team, but that's not the end. I don't want
yeah.
to let people down. It's like get out of it.
32 or 34 millimeter?
Both.
Yeah, same. But
Yeah, both really.
yeah. Do you have a dream sponsor?
No, I have my dream sponsor, to be
Yeah, I
honest.
think.
It's like my dream sponsor was Bollywood because Timo is a person I know for really long, and I love Berlinwood since I know Berlinwood, and I'm already on my dream sponsor. Point.
What's the Instagram account that you like following the most? Where you're
Hmm.
excited to see new posts, or like doesn't have to be fingerboard related.
Doesn't have to be fingerboard related. I'm
But
not
could
that
be.
often on Instagram at the moment. That's a problem. And on my Harz4 account, I don't follow that much people because I want to have not that much social media stuff at
No,
the moment.
that's
Um, the most. What is actually my feed? I have to look at to have a feeling about that. You see how much time I spend at social media at the
we
moment.
could just say
That I'm
Soundsphere.
Yeah, Soundsphere is cool. Follow Soundsphere. More traffic on his channel. No. Yeah, yeah. Let's save Soundsphere.
And what's your
Sorry.
favorite overall company?
Yeah, Berlinwood, of
Yeah,
course.
yeah. I think Berlin and ASI are up. They are like the goats.
Yeah, in my area, yeah,
Yeah.
of course.
Yeah, that already brings us to the end. And yeah,
Yep.
do you have something to add, or something to shout out, or something you would like?
To be honest, my brain is empty
Yeah,
now. So I will get some points maybe in a few minutes,
yeah,
but it's too
no
late.
worries.
So
Okay, so yeah, thank you for doing it. The last few interviews I did were all with people from the States, and yeah, it's cool to finally have one of my friends on again. And yeah, thank you for agreeing. That
yeah, it's thanks for your help. That's always the problem with my English. It's
yeah,
like
but
I understand really much of it,
no
but
worries.
it's easier with you. That the vibe is there, and
Yeah,
you can help me. And at the end, we come to a result that everybody hopefully understand how I work and what's
and
main
and I
idea
mean
behind it.
that's a beautiful thing in fingerboarding. You have people from all over the world. You like I at Pateo, I had a session for a while with a guy. I don't know his name. We didn't speak the same language, but we both got stoked when we landed a trick down the handrail we were shredding. Yeah.
Yeah, you don't need words to communicate in
Yeah,
fingerboarding.
so, like even in a game of skate, you just show the rotation with your hand and be like, this one.
To be honest, on an event, it's like when you're fingerboarding on an event, and there's some tricks you try so hard, and then you land it, and it's like, yeah, I just did it for my
Yeah,
own, because, but then it's like, but just take a look if somebody
yeah.
see that,
It would
and it's
be,
like, oh, you see that, and it's like, that was
yeah,
cool. It's
the
like, yeah, I
landing,
know, thanks.
shocked face, looking left, looking right, looking up, like anyone?
Oh
Yeah, we've
man,
all
yeah.
done that.
We want attention. Attention.
Yeah,
Well, let's stop
yeah.
it here.
So yeah, thank you for doing this. Thank you everyone for listening. And yeah, I will be doing the 30th episode soon. So yeah,
Woohoo! This was your
yeah,
29th
this was the
episode?
29th.
I'm 29 years
Oh,
old.
nice.
Crazy. Just a fun fact.
So yeah, thank you for listening, and you will catch me in the next episode. Bye.
I see ya.